In retrospect, Taylor Lipin would consider the termite chilling on her toothbrush to be an omen. At 6:30 in the morning, however, it was simply disgusting. She screamed, flung the toothbrush into the trash, and retrieved the spare she'd had the foresight to stash in her bathroom cabinet. 5 minutes later, standing under the hot shower spray, she took heart in the knowledge that her day was unlikely to get any worse. By the time she stopped at the coffee shop near her office to meet her best friend, she'd mostly put the termite out of her head. Stacy had texted to say she was running late, so Taylor ordered for both of them and stepped aside as she waited for their pre-work caffeine infusions to be prepared. The shop smelled wonderful, a blend of coffee, sugar, and vanilla that set Taylor up for disappointment each weekday morning. In a city filled with coffee shops, she'd yet to find one that could make her favorite drink as well as the place in her hometown. Likely it had nothing to do with the quality of the beans or the baristas, and everything to do with nostalgia, but that was life. A new text arrived before either Stacy or the coffee, and Taylor read it, expecting a second update from her friend. Instead, it was from her sister. And that was when Taylor recalled both the termite and that old saying about what happens when you make assumptions. Emergency. About Mom. Call me soon. The chaotic chatter of dozens of voices, the hiss of the espresso machine, the barely audible beat from whatever song was being pumped through the shop's speakers. It all dissolved beneath the thudding of Taylor's heart as she read the message a second time. Cool, unflappable Lydia was not prone to hysterics. Was it a heart attack? Cancer? A bad fall? Taylor L., the barista calling her name snapped her out of the endless stream of morose questions. Taylor took a deep, steadying breath. If her mother was in imminent danger, surely Lydia would have called. That would be sensible, and her older sister was nothing if not sensible and dutiful. Therefore, Taylor wouldn't panic, and she'd take a sip of her coffee before calling. God knew she'd probably need the caffeine. Since there was still no sign of Stacy, Taylor carried the drinks over to a slightly quieter corner near the entrance and dialed Lydia. Her sister picked up on the second ring, leaving the caffeine with no time to work its magic. Taylor? For someone who'd sent a text declaring an emergency only a minute ago, her sister seemed awfully surprised to hear from her. But Taylor was too concerned to point that out. What happened? You actually called. I was hoping to catch you before work, but I didn't expect that. Lydia's incredulity required her to take another sip of her drink. You said it's an emergency. Of course I called. What's wrong? Lydia seemed to collect herself, and her voice returned to normal. Mom took off. What do you mean, took off? That's not a euphemism, is it? What? No. She got in the car and drove. To Anchorage, I think. They're getting divorced. For a second, Taylor thought she must have heard her sister incorrectly. Mom and Dad divorced? No, it didn't make sense. Then her sister's words sank in, and confusion warred with relief. So her mother was fine, but her mother was also clearly not fine because a fine mother wouldn't be asking for a divorce. Taylor felt like the universe had slapped her. They've been married for almost 35 years. This is impossible. They're so happy. She'd thought they were anyway.